It was only the second day of our marriage. And my wife said she was going on a trip. The rain in Seattle was coming down hard, hitting the windows like a relentless drumbeat. I stood by the glass watching the water blur the world, feeling a cold dampness seeping into my very soul. Behind me I heard the sharp sound of a suitcase zipper. Lily was packing her things with an excited energy, like she was preparing for the party of a lifetime. "Don't forget I'm heading out for that trip today, babe," she said without even looking up at me. I turned around to look at my new bride. We hadn't even been married for 48 hours. And a bitter taste rose in the back of my throat. Lily was 27 with soft curls and a bright smile that usually felt like sunshine on a cloudy day. We met at a tech firm and dated for 2 years. Our wedding was just yesterday and the house was still filled with the scent of lilies and celebration. But here she was already planning her next escape. "Who exactly are you going with?" I asked quietly. Lily finally stopped moving and looked at the floor, her eyes darting around the room to avoid mine. "Just a few friends from way back," she mumbled. "Friends you don't really know that well yet." "Which friends?" I pressed, my voice growing tighter. Lily rolled her eyes and sighed in deep frustration. "Why are you acting like a federal prosecutor right now? I'm just going away for a few days, for God's sake." I walked over and knelt down directly in front of her, forcing her to look me straight in the eyes. "Lily, we are a married couple now," I said firmly. "Your life is my life, so just tell me who it is." She went silent for a few long seconds. Then she finally blurted it out with a defiant look. "Fine, it's my best friend Mark and a few others. We do this trip every single year without fail." "Your male best friend?" I asked, my heart sinking. "The guy in the white shirt at the wedding?" Lily nodded and said, "Yes, that is exactly who it is. We've been best friends since middle school days." I stood up and walked back to the window. I remembered how Mark looked at her yesterday. It wasn't the look of a friend keeping a distance. It was the look of a man waiting for his turn. "Can't you just cancel it?" I asked through gritted teeth. "We just got married, at least wait for our honeymoon." Lily walked over and tried to grab my hand. "Babe, I know you're feeling a little bit insecure. But we planned this months ago and I can't flake. I can't just leave them hanging at the airport." "Then take me with you," I said, looking her in the eye. Lily froze for a second, then slowly shook her head. "No, that would be so awkward for everyone involved. We already agreed it's just for the old inner circle." I pulled my hand back and felt the anger rising. "Then what am I to you in this house, Lily? We got married yesterday and you're leaving with him. How am I supposed to feel about this situation?" Her face flushed red as she started raising her voice. "Don't call him another man like he's a stranger. Mark is my bestie, not some guy I just met. Why are you being so small-minded and jealous?" "Bestie," I let out a sharp and cold laugh. "Do you really think I don't see what's happening? Any person with eyes saw how he looked at you. He is clearly in love with you, Lily." She turned bright red and screamed that I was crazy. "We are just friends and nothing has ever happened. If there was something, we would have dated years ago. It would have never been your turn," she snapped. That sentence hit me like a physical blow to the chest. I looked at the woman I loved more than anything, fighting me so hard just to go travel with another man. "Lily, if you leave today I won't stop you. But when you come back we are no longer married." My voice was flat and cold as the winter air. "I am giving you two very clear choices right now. Option 1 is you stay here and we be newlyweds. We stay home and start our life together properly. Option 2 is you walk out that front door. And the moment you do I am calling a lawyer." Lily looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language. She thought I was joking or just trying to scare her. "Stop being so dramatic," she said with a fake laugh. "It's just a trip, it's not a reason for a divorce." "I am not being dramatic," I said, staring her down. There is no warmth left in my eyes anymore. "I am dead serious, so make your choice right now." Lily's face darkened and she looked at me with spite. Fine if you really want to be this way, she said. She grabbed her suitcase and headed for the door. I'm sorry, but I am not breaking my promise to Mark. We already have everything booked and ready to go. She didn't look back as she hurried out the door. Like she was running away from a fire she started. I didn't chase her, I just stood in the silence. Lily, I shouted one last time as she hit the hallway. She stopped for a heartbeat but kept her back turned. Remember what I said, because I never break my word. Her shoulders stiffened but then she kept on walking. The heavy front door slammed shut with a final thud. I stood in our empty living room for a long time, staring at the wood grain of the closed door. For the next 7 days I didn't send a single text. I didn't call her or check her social media once. Lily probably thought about my warning once or twice. But with the beach and Mark's jokes by her side, she pushed the guilt deep down where it couldn't reach. She convinced herself I was just throwing a tantrum, that I'd be over it by the time she landed home. After all, we were married and marriage is forever. On the 7th night Lily walked back into the house, already rehearsing her apology and her sweet excuses. She even bought me a fancy watch from the duty-free, ready to give me a surprise and make everything okay. She turned the key and walked into a pitch-black house. She called out my name but only silence answered. She flipped the light switch and her heart stopped. The living room was filled with stacked cardboard boxes, all of them packed with her clothes and her shoes. And there on the coffee table sat a single envelope. She opened it and saw the words "Petition for Divorce." Her hands started shaking so hard she dropped her phone. She tried to call me but my phone was turned off. She called my office and they said I was on leave. No one knew where I had gone for the week. Lily collapsed onto the sofa clutching that paper, realizing for the first time that I wasn't bluffing. She sent me 100 texts saying she was sorry, promising she would never see Mark ever again, begging for just one more chance to fix the mess. But every single message sat there unread and cold. The next morning she heard the lock finally turn. She jumped up and ran to the door as I walked in. I was wearing a clean blue shirt and my glasses, looking as calm as if I'd just been out for coffee. "Babe," she sobbed, grabbing my arms with both hands. "I am so sorry, I know I messed up so badly. I'll block Mark right now, I'll never speak to him. Just please don't do this, please give us a chance." I gently removed her hands from my sleeves, and picked up the divorce papers from the table. "Lily," I said in a voice that was tired but steady, "I made the boundaries very clear before you left. You chose to walk out that door regardless. I only left because I thought you were overreacting." She cried out through her messy tears and mascara. "I didn't think you would actually throw us away." I looked at her and felt no anger and no sadness, just a deep sense of exhaustion in my bones. "We were together for 4 years, Lily," I said. "I thought I knew who you were, but I was wrong. I did some checking while you were away this week. Before we met, you and Mark were basically a couple. Everyone thought you guys were going to get married. I cannot believe a man stays that close for no reason." Lily shook her head and swore it was just friendship. But I just smiled a sad and weary smile at her. "Even if it was just friendship, you have no respect. We were newlyweds and you chose him over me. You couldn't even give me 7 days of your time. So tell me, Lily, who is actually important to you?" She opened her mouth but no words would come out. "Just sign the papers," I said. "It's better this way. You can go on all the trips you want with anyone. No one will ever be here to hold you back again." She looked at me and realized I was a stranger now. The man who adored her died the moment she left. "Is there really no way to fix this?" she whispered. I shook my head and told her some things stay broken. Once the trust is shattered, the glue doesn't work. I went into the bedroom to grab my final bag. I moved slowly, remembering every dream we had. Our first date, the way she looked in her white dress. I zipped the bag and walked out for the last time. Lily was still standing there like a ghost in the room. She hadn't signed the papers, she was just frozen. I stopped at the door but I didn't turn around. Learn to respect people's feelings in the future, Lily. And learn to have some respect for yourself too. Then I walked out and let the door click shut. The sound of my footsteps faded down the hall. And Lily finally collapsed on the floor in tears. She finally understood that choices have consequences. And some doors stay locked once you walk through them. She thought marriage was a place to be selfish. But she forgot that love requires a sense of limits. Outside, the Seattle rain started falling again. And Lily curled up in the middle of her empty life, feeling the true weight of what it means to be alone. The story ends here, but the lesson stays behind. Marriage isn't the end of the journey, it's a commitment. Don't make your partner wait or wonder or beg. Because one day you'll come home to an empty house. And realize you didn't just lose a trip, you lost a home. If you have someone you love, learn to respect the lines. Because love is built on boundaries and shared respect. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next story.